Alright, hey guys, it's Cam and I am back for another video today, and today is going to be a pet peeves video, and I'm going to try my very hardest to not start screaming and getting really mad, because I'm one of those people that gets super mad about something and I don't hold it back. I just explode for a good 10 minutes, and I'm ranting to literally anybody around me. We don't even have to be close to each other, and I will just start screaming and ranting about whatever's bothering me, and then in 5 minutes I'm perfectly fine and I'm laughing with whoever I'm with, and it's just no big deal. But I explode at the very moment, so it's and I get really irritated about little things, which is really bad, and I'm working on controlling it. But there's just some things that I just can't let go of, and it drives me absolutely insane. So I have created a list, and I'm going to share that list with you guys. I have a little pet peeves. Can you see all the things? Yeah. I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as I can, and let's just start with the first one. Okay, so a lot of these things have to do with school, what I encounter at school, because I'm a junior, I'm about to be a senior, and there's just little things at school that drive me absolutely insane. And one of them is a little small side note that I just thought of when I was talking about school. And it's the people that you know how in your English class or your history class that somebody has to read out loud, and it'll be a big paragraph, right? It's never the small paragraphs. It's always the huge paragraphs. And there's always those three people that always constantly raise their hand, and the teacher gets annoyed that it's only those three people that want to read, but she calls on them anyways because nobody else is volunteering to read. And one of them that always reads and volunteers to read and loves to read out loud is always the person that is horrible at reading out loud. They suck at reading out loud. I'm sure they're smart people. I'm sure they're super nice people. And I'm sure they're great and amazing. But stop reading out loud. If you can't completely say the paragraph word for word, and they mess up every word, they mispronounce everything, they're super slow at reading, that drives me absolutely insane, and I can't handle it. Stop volunteering to read. You irritate everybody. You just see everybody in the class, it's rolling their eyes. How do you not notice that? I don't know, it drives me nuts. And that was just a small little one that I just thought of right now. Another thing on the slow part is slow walkers. Everybody has somewhere they want to be, and I walk ridiculously fast. All my friends get annoyed at me because I walk really fast, but I have really long legs, so I walk fast. A lot of the times when I'm walking with my friends, I'll go so far ahead of them, not paying attention, especially if I'm on my phone, and I'll just start walking really fast, how I normally do if I'm by myself. And I always have to turn around. I either have to wait for them, or a lot of times I'll just walk backwards, and I'll keep checking where I'm going to make sure I don't run into anybody. But I walk backwards because my walking backwards is still faster than them just walking. And they're not super super slow. I'm just a super fast walker. But it's those people that are it's the couples or the annoying girl groups that walk 0.2 miles an hour, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Walk. Why can't you walk? I understand that you might want to get to class right when the late bell rings, that you're not just hanging out in class because you hate school. Cool. I don't want to get to my class super early anyways, but my class is all the way across the school, and I have to walk fast just to make sure I'm there by the time the minute bell rings or the late bell rings. I'm in a hurry. I have somewhere to be, and it's so annoying. And then you take up the entire hallway. Absolutely not. Do not do that. That's so annoying. Can you not? Or can you split up so you're have two people here and then two people here, not so it's 4 people that take up the entire freaking hallway? Thanks but no thanks. Move, or walk faster, or separate, or do something. But you're so annoying, and I hate those people so much. Walk faster. I'm already getting mad, and that was only 2, but hopefully these other ones don't make me as mad. The next one is another thing about hallways. It's when people just bump into you, and it's not in high school I don't really mind it because there are way over 3,000 kids at my school. I think it's close to 4,000, to be honest. I go to a huge school. I get it. People are gonna bump into you, and I get bumped into it on a daily basis, and I don't really mind that because it's everybody has somewhere to be. it's school, like, you just kind of get used to it. But it's like when it's in like public at a mall where it's like it's still busy, but the mall I go to doesn't really have that many people in it. It doesn't have that many stores, so it's like there's plenty of room, so you don't have to bump into somebody, or like on the aisles you don't have to bump into somebody. But yet they don't want to say excuse me if you're like sticking out of the like the aisle too far. They don't want to just say excuse me. They would rather just ram into your back, and it's so annoying because you're not expecting it. Like at school, I'm expecting to get bumped into. Like I'm expecting, and like I'm ready. Like I kind of like tense in the hallways like this because I'm ready for somebody to completely like knock me over, and I'm prepared for it because I know it's gonna happen. And so like I tense up so I don't get knocked over. But like when I'm out in public, I don't expect, and it's always like grown people too. It's always like adults that are the ones who like just bump into you and don't say excuse me, and then they're always the ones to complain that like teenagers and kids are so annoying how they just like bump into you and they never say excuse me and they never say sorry. Like I never bump into people because I'll say excuse me and then they hear me and they move and there's no like physical contact. There's no bumping into somebody, and I think that's really annoying. Like just say excuse me. Okay, another thing is like people who don't cover their mouth when they sneeze, which like I know is like super common, but there's this oh, one of my friends, he was like sitting behind me in one of my classes, and it's not like it's hard to explain, but we sit at like the very front of the classroom, like where the teacher's desk is, because it's not one of those, it's like our elective, you know, so it's not really any like teaching happening, if that makes any sense. So he sits like right behind me, but it's like our chairs are like touching, like he's like right here, right? And so one day he kept sneezing. And so I was like, that's like really gross. And I couldn't tell if he was covering his mouth, but it was seriously like right here that he was sneezing. And so I was like, I turned around and I was like, can you please cover your mouth and like not sneeze on my head and not blow your nose right behind me? Like, I think it's so gross when you hear people blow their nose in the middle of class. Like, I love the people who like get a tissue, walk out of the door, close the door, blow their nose, and then once they're done blowing their nose, then they re-enter the classroom to join us. Like, they don't interrupt the entire class, especially like when the teacher's teaching and you just hear somebody in the corner that's like blowing their nose like excessively. Like, that's gross. Like, that's disgusting. I don't want to hear the snot coming out of your nose. Thanks, but no thanks. And I kept asking him to like blow your nose like outside or like at least away from like my hair. Like, I don't want your snot in my hair. That's disgusting. Please, like, no, like, don't do that. And he kept like sneezing and like blowing his nose like right here, and I was getting so aggravated that I turned around and I just started yelling at him, and I felt bad, but like we're friends, so it wasn't like as bad. I don't think I'd ever do that to a stranger. I mean, hopefully I wouldn't ever do that to a stranger, but like it's really aggravating. I asked you like 3 times and you still do it. Like, thanks, but can you not do that? That's really annoying. Oh, and another like side note about sneezing, which like I don't know, this is more like gross than like annoying, but like this guy, he was walking in the cafeteria and he had like one of those trays, so he was holding it with both hands, and what the heck? Sorry, something fell and I don't know what that was. But this guy, he was walking, he had like a drink that he was holding with the tray, so both of his hands were like full, right? And I get it, like if both of your hands are full, like, and you need to sneeze, like it's really hard to be able to cover your mouth, but like you can still like lift up the tray and go like that, you know, like you can find a way. This guy was carrying like his tray and it had like his pizza and then it was like fries or whatever. I don't buy school lunch. He had to sneeze. He took his tray, like held it up to his mouth, sneezed all over his slice of pizza. All over his pizza. Like the biggest sneeze all over his pizza. And I watched him go sit at his table, pick up his pizza, and then eat it. That is so disgusting. Like, I honestly didn't eat the rest of my lunch because after I saw that, I couldn't focus on anything else except for the fact this guy just ate his own snot, which I get, like, it's yours, but, like, that's still disgusting. Like, you just sneezed all over your pizza, and then you ate it. Like, that's really gross. Like, can you please not be gross? Thanks. Appreciated. Okay, another pet peeve of mine is people who, like, leave you on red or open, like, depending on if it's, like, texting or, like, Snapchat. But it's, like, if our conversation isn't over, then, like, if I ask you, like, a question or, like, if we're in the middle of, like, a conversation, like, a good conversation and then you leave me on red or open, that's so annoying. Like, I understand if you're busy and I understand if you have things to do. Like, I have stuff to do too, but I will never leave somebody on red or open, because if I'm busy, then I'll be like, hey, like, I'll talk to you later, I'm busy. Like, how hard is it even to just send like a quick like BRB, which I know like people don't really send BRB anymore. That was like years and years ago. But like, text me BRB. And like, I understand, but you leave me on freaking red or open. That's so annoying. Especially on Snapchat, it drives me nuts, because then like they try to continue the conversation and I'm like, that was 2 hours ago. Like, do you think I remember what I said to you 2 hours ago? Like, I'm talking to other people. I don't remember what I told you 2 hours ago. And I know this sounds like really like entitled and like whatever, like, oh, I'm more important. No, I don't think I'm more important. I think everything you have to do is far more important than whatever we are talking about. But like, have the decency to be like, hey, I'm busy, I'll talk to you later, and like, that's perfectly fine. I'll never complain about any of that. Like, I get it, you have a life, I have a life too, but be a decent human being and say, hey, I'll be right back, or hey, I gotta go, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Like, you know, something like that that's like not annoying and just like straight up rude and uncalled for. Okay, the next one, I feel like I'm calling a lot of people out in my life, but like, I'm sorry, like, if you see this, like, hi, you know who you are, because I complain about it all the time that you do this thing. But one of them is something that my mom does, and she's really the only one in my life that does this, but people who borrow things without asking. Like, I don't even mind if you borrow something and don't return it. I kind of half believe that, like, if somebody asks to borrow something, you're never going to see it again, just because, like, in my experience in life, every time somebody's asked to borrow something from me, I never see it ever again. Or like, somebody asked to borrow a shirt and then they just keep the shirt forever and they actually like wear it and I see them wearing it and then we make a joke out of it. And like, to be honest, I don't really care about that. But it's like, when you want to borrow something and you don't ask. And my mom does this all the time, because my mom and I are the exact same size. So she always wants to wear my jeans or like my shirts. Luckily, she hasn't stolen this one yet. Or like, shoes are our major problem. She always takes my shoes. And it's so annoying. So like, I have my shoes on display right here. There's actually like none of my shoes on there right now because I'm a mess and lazy and I can't be bothered to put anything away. But usually the shoe rack has 8 pairs of shoes on it, right? And like, my boots and stuff are all like in my closet, like on display too, because I'm obsessed with shoes. And my mom just comes into my room, doesn't knock, and it's usually when I'm not home, which she never knocks when I'm home anyways, which is like really annoying. But she comes and just takes my stuff, doesn't tell me, and then I'll see her like later, like she'll go out like with friends or like on a date or something, and then like she'll come home and she's wearing like my shoes or like my top, and I'm like, you know, I was looking for that earlier because I wanted to wear that because that's like mine, which I know sounds horrible because she's my mom and like sharing is caring and you know all that stuff, but it's like, I would gladly let her borrow or literally take, like, have it, but just ask. I feel like it's like the nice thing to do, like common courtesy, like just ask for it, especially since you're coming into like my room and like just taking my stuff and like going through all my stuff looking for stuff, because a lot of the times like my stuff is just thrown around. And like, it sounds really bad that I'm saying this about my mom, but like, it's really annoying. Like, please just ask. I have never, the only times I've ever said no to not let her wear something is if, one, I'm already wearing it on my body. Like, if I'm already wearing it, then I'm not going to take it off and let you wear it. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't have the time for that because I'm usually always running late. And the only other time is like, her job is super messy and a lot of stuff she wears to her job gets ruined. Like, all of her shirts have like a hole like right here on her stomach, and it's just because she leans up against like the tables and the tables are super rough, and so it like gets holes in it from rubbing against it. And like, I don't want you to ruin my shirts because I buy like a lot of my shirts myself from working at my job, so it's like, I really don't want you to ruin my top just because you've ruined like all of yours. Like, you can wear it out and like with friends and on the weekends and at night, like do whatever, but I really just don't want her wearing it to work. So that's the only times I've ever said like no. But I mean, at least she asked those few times. Alright, my next pet peeve is people who like are like, you're out in public, right? Okay. So there's this, I'm going to tell you a little story. There's this lady, and I went to Taco Bell with one of my best friends because we love Taco Bell, and I also had like no money, and I had to pay for her. So I was like, okay, what can we get cheap? Tacos. And so we went to Taco Bell, right? And we were about to go to the pool. So like, you know how like if you're going to the pool, you're not dressed like super nice because you're going to a pool. It doesn't matter what you're wearing because you're wearing a bathing suit at the pool. And so I kind of debated wearing like a see-through top and like super, super short shorts that were like a little bit uncalled for, but I was like, no, we're going to get food. Like, I'm going to just like, I threw on a t-shirt, or no, I think it was a tank top, but like, it was completely covered. Like, I was going to wear a see-through tank top, but I wore just like a normal tank top and like shorts that were short, but they're not that short. Like, my butt wasn't hanging out the bottom of them, which I know a lot of people do just because they think it's cute, which I don't think it's that cute, but whatever. So it wasn't like I was dressed like disgustingly and like, I don't know. I was like getting my Taco Bell and I was getting a drink and I turn around and this grown lady is like staring at me. And so I kind of like looked at her and she's just like glaring me. She's eyeing me down the whole time walking to this table to go meet my friend when we're waiting for our Taco Bell. And I can't like, I went on my phone and I looked up and she was still staring at me. And I was like, and I kind of like gave her like a half smile and she like gave me the dirtiest glare. Like her glare got even like ruder, if that's even possible. And I don't understand. Like, I did nothing to this woman. I didn't even see her. Like, I just turned around and she's staring at me. And it's like, what could I have possibly done that offended you so much when it's not like I'm dressed inappropriately. It's not like I'm just wearing like a short little crop top and then my butt is hanging out of my shorts. Like, I was literally wearing flip-flops, a tank top, and it was like a high neck tank top too. And then shorts that were perfectly fine. And you're completely offended by something that I have no idea what, and I have never spoken to you. I never even looked at you because I didn't see you until you were already staring at me. And it's like, I really don't understand what I've done to this lady, but she hated me, and I don't know why. And people do that all the time, and I always get dirty looks like that, and I really don't understand it. But it's a huge pet peeve of mine, because it's like, what could I have done that offended you so much? Okay, and the last pet peeve for today before I, like, explode and, like, get so angry that I can't like continue my day properly is judgmental people. And I'm like, okay, all these little pet peeves have like little story times about my life that like have happened like in the past like week, but one of them happened yesterday and it has to do with one of my teachers, and I cannot stand this teacher. Like, I usually love my teachers, especially my English teacher. Like, I love English. English is my favorite subject, but this teacher is so mean and rude. Like, I don't know why she's like that. And some days she's super nice. And then other days she's just the rudest person. And I don't understand because she's super young. And usually the super young teachers, like, you know, and she's super pretty too. They're usually like, they're really like nice, cool teachers that like everybody loves. But everybody hates this teacher. And it's just because of how like rude and judgmental she is. So she already doesn't like me because I have her 6th period. And I miss 6th period a lot just for like, I have orthodontist appointments, so I miss 6th period a lot. Or at the beginning of the year for like 3 months, I have like, I leave like at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, and rarely 3 times a week because I have soccer and I have to leave. Like, I have to make it to my away game. So I leave halfway through my 5th period and I miss all of 6th period. And she knows that. It's an excused absence. Like, I always do all my work. I never ask for extended time just because like it's my choice to do a sport and I feel bad that I missed that much class. And I had English last year, and my English teacher did not like me last year until I actually, like, soccer season was over and then I was in class all the time. And I get good grades in English. Like, I do all my assignments, I get A's on all the assignments, and I finish, like, the semesters and quarters with, like, A's and B's. So, like, it's not like I'm a bad student, and I don't, like, talk to anybody around me until it's, like, appropriate time to talk. So it's not like I'm obnoxious. I just sit there and I do my work. And I don't understand why this teacher hates me so much, other than like the fact that I missed that class a lot. And so, what was I said yesterday? Okay, so it was, woo. Okay, so the story I'm going to tell you is how yesterday I had to talk to my teacher because on Wednesday I got my braces off. And so I missed that whole day of school because my appointment was super long, and then I just didn't want to go to school for the rest of the day. And we're about to take finals, so we're just reviewing in all of our classes anyway, so I didn't go to any of my classes. And then on Thursday, I had to take my math final exam because everybody in my class is seniors except like 3 of us. So my math teacher was like, oh, like, you 3 juniors, like, you can take the math final exam and then you don't have to show up on the last day of school since I have a 5th period. She was like, you don't have to show up the last day of school, you just have to go to your 6th period. And I was like, okay, like, that sounds awesome. I get to sleep in and, like, cool, last day of school, like, fun, you know? So I was like, okay, I'm going to take my math final exam, but it's 2 parts because it's 50 questions. So the first part was going to be on Thursday and the second part was going to be on Friday, and I wasn't going to be there Friday. So, and I went and talked to the teacher, and she was like, okay, you can stay after your class on Thursday and do the second part, and then I'll just write you a pass to go to your 6th period. And in my 6th period, I knew we were just watching a video in class, so I was like, okay, we're just watching a video, like, it's not that important. I can take my math final exam, you know, which is, like, way more important than watching a stupid video, right? So I missed basically all but like 15 minutes of 6th period, and I honestly debated just like not going to 6th period because, like, what's the point? But I was like, no, you already missed yesterday, you missed like almost all class today, and you're missing class tomorrow, so just go, let her know you're not going to be at school tomorrow, see what assignments you've missed these past 2 days, because there's only 1 day left of the semester and then it's final exams. So I decided to go to class. And I got into class, and they were just finishing up the video, so, like, I went, and I gave her the note, and I sat at my desk, and I just sat there quietly, even though I had no idea what was going on. So then she gave us, like, these instructions that went with the video, and then she went and sat down at her desk, so I was like, okay, I can go talk to her now to see, like, how I can make up the assignment for the video, because I didn't watch it, what we did yesterday, and what we're doing tomorrow, so that I can get the assignment and make it up, so I don't get a bad grade at the end of the quarter, you know? So I went up to her desk, and I was just kind of sitting there, or not sitting there, I was just kind of standing there while she was, like, doing something on her computer, and I didn't want to interrupt her, so I was just kind of, like, standing there, like, smiling, and then she finally turned to me, and she was like, yes, and I was like, hi, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to see what we did in class today since I wasn't here. And she's like, yeah, why weren't you here until the last 15 minutes? And I was like, I'm sorry, I had to make up a math test because I was absent yesterday, because we're not supposed, as juniors, we're not supposed to take the final exam early, so I didn't want to get my math teacher in trouble, because she's actually really nice. So I just said I had to make up a test, which isn't that much of a lie. And I said it super nicely, too. Like, I tried to be so nice to this teacher, and she just kind of, like, looked at me, and she's like, okay. And I was like, and I wanted to get the assignment from yesterday since I wasn't here yesterday. And she's like, why weren't you here yesterday? And I was like, sorry, I got my braces off, so I didn't go to any of my classes yesterday. And she looked at me, and she was just like, okay. And so she just kind of, like, kept continuing typing on her computer. So I was like, and I also just wanted to let you know that I won't be here tomorrow. So this is when she finally looked at me. And she kind of just looked at me, and she did, like, one of those, like, slow blink things, like, you're being super rude type of things. And she was just staring at me. And I was like, so I was wondering, like, what my assignment was for tomorrow so I can make up all my assignments. So she told me what the assignment was, and she was like, you're missing a lot of school this week. And I was like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry, like, I just have a lot of stuff going on this week, it's super busy. And I was like, everything's just kind of hitting me at once. And she's like, well, why aren't you going to be here on Friday, which tomorrow? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, it's my best friend's mom's graduation. And she was like, your best friend's mom graduation? And I was like, yeah, and I'm going. And she was like, this sounds really familiar. Do I know your best friend? And I was like, yeah, she's in your 3rd period class. And I told her name, and she's like, oh, right, she wasn't here today either. And I was like, yeah, no, sorry, she has family in town, and she was setting up her house and helping them get settled. And she just kind of, like, looked at me, did her slow blink again, and she's like, but it's your best friend's mom graduation. And I was like, yes. And she's like, Faith is your best friend. And I was like, yes. And she's like, but it's her mom graduating, not your mom. And I was like, no, it's not my mom, but my mom and I are going, but it's her mom's graduation. And she's like, so you're missing a whole day of school for your best friend's mom graduation? And I was like, yes, I'm missing today to go to the graduation. And she rolled her eyes at me. My teacher rolled her eyes at me. I get that, like, it might seem like a dumb reason to you that I'm missing for my best friend's mom's graduation, but that does not, like, why are you judging me about why I'm missing school? And she just kept going on that it wasn't my mom's graduation, that was my best friend's mom's graduation, and she rolled her eyes at me, and she just looked at me, and she's like, that's really a good reason to miss a whole day of school? And I was like, yeah, it is a good reason to miss a whole day of school. And so she's like, fine, she's like, what we're doing tomorrow is up on the front desk and you can go get it. And she's like, that's all. And I was like, okay. And she's like, will you be here Monday? And I was like, yes, I will be here Monday. And she's like, okay, well then you can catch up then. And I was like, okay. And I walked to the front of the room. I got my assignment. I walked to the back of the room, got the assignments I missed today and then the last 2 days. And then I went and sat at my desk. And I just started like ranting to the girl who sits next to me about like everything that happened. Because why is it her place to judge why I'm like missing school? Like, one, I don't have to tell you where I'm going to be. I didn't even have to inform you that I was going to be absent the next day. I didn't have to tell her why I missed class today, and I didn't have to tell her why I missed class yesterday, but I was trying to be nice and let her know. And I was trying to inform her so I could get all my assignments and make it up because I actually care about my grades because I'm a good student. Like, that's so annoying. It's not your place to judge when I'm going to be absent. And you know what? I almost debated, like, explaining to her that it's just my mom and I have nobody else but my mom. And my best friend is the same way. It's just her and her mom. And our moms are super close friends. And she's my best friend. Like, we literally do everything together. So, like, our families are super, super close. She's my neighbor. She lives 10 houses down. Like, we're ridiculously close. Our dogs are best friends. Like, she's family. Like, she's basically my family. And so, yes, I'm going to her mom's graduation because her mom is like my family too. And my teacher is going to sit there, slow blink at me, roll her eyes at me, and judge me why I'm going to miss school. And we're literally just reviewing for the final exam. An English final exam. How do you review for an English final exam? You read the passage, you answer the questions. Like, how hard is that? Like, it's not that hard. It's the same thing every year. Like, I can't handle the fact of how judgmental she is, and I can't anymore. I need to end this video right now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want more pet peeves videos. Hopefully they won't be as long because I think this video is half an hour long. I'm really sorry, but I kind of just start ranting and going on and on about tangents and stories, and I can't help it. So I'm really sorry that this was so long, but I love you guys, and you got to see this obnoxious, loud, angry side of me. So sorry if this is the first video seeing, but give it a thumbs up, leave any comments down below, and I want to know what some of your guys' pet peeves are, because I love hearing about people's pet peeves, and like when they start like going off and ranting, I think it's really entertaining for me. It's some of my favorite like videos to watch, so let me know down in the comments, and subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!